Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2003. This is an interview with Mr. Joseph Palazzolo. My name is Preeti Vij and I will be conducting the interview. Monica Skaranska will be operating the camera. Mr. Palazzolo, what war and branch of service did you serve in?
I was in the Second World War in the Army.
What was your rank?
Well, I wasn't in long enough, so I only went as far as PFC.
Where exactly did you serve?
Where? Are you trying to tell me that when I first got in, or?
Yeah, the whole time.
Well, I got drafted in 1944, August 29th, and from there I went to my basic in Camp Robinson, Arkansas, and supposed to have gotten about 17 weeks training, but when the war was getting a little heavy over there, they cut me short to 13 weeks. So I came home for 1 week, Christmas Eve, and I had to leave Christmas, New Year's Eve. And in January, 1st of January, I was on a boat going to England. And so how far do you want me to go from there now?
It said that you went to Germany?
I did. I went, as I said, I went to England, Liverpool, England, where they docked the boat. And from there I went to France, Metz, France, by train. And that's when I started doing all my traveling to Germany.
Were you drafted, or did you?
I was drafted. I was taken out of the 11th grade. I finished my 11th grade, and I had to go in service. But with the credits I had in my schooling, I had enough to graduate anyway.
Since you were drafted, were you able to pick a service branch?
No, they just put me in service. They needed people, and I was one of the people.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Detroit.
Do you recall your first days of service?
The first days? Well, I had a good time with my the people I got associated with, and but things were so fast that next thing I knew, I was on a boat going to England.
What did it feel like?
What did it feel like? It seemed like I was going on a trip, and I'd be right back.
Please tell me about your boot camp and training experience.
We had all of our basics all done. I was trained for a light mortar. They have two mortars. One it weighs 60 pounds, and one was 20. And I had the one that had 20 pounds in it. But who do you think was using it all the time? My captain.
Do you remember your instructors?
Well, no. I can't remember. Let's see. There was a sergeant called Mr. Tiller. Be careful, he's that guy. And it's kind of hard to remember.
Do you remember arriving?
Arriving to
England?
In England? I know we were on the boat. We left New York and we were on the water for 8 days. And the water was very calm all the way. And by the time we got to Liverpool, we went through the English Channel. And somebody had mentioned that there was a submarine in the water, but we never come across that. And when we got into Liverpool, we all got ready to go on this train. These trains carry either 8 horses or 40 people. And we were in these trains until we got to Metz, France.
What was your job assignment?
My job? Follow the leader.
Did you see combat?
Yes, I did. But what we had to go through from England, what has happened in between time, like buildings that have been bombed and so forth. The first not a combat, but something that happened to was 4 people before I got there. They were building a fire, and when the Germans saw the fire, all 4 got killed of direct fire, and that didn't make me feel too good then.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Well, not until I got hit. And like I said, I had to go from Metz, France, where I saw a lot of horses that were dead from bombs. And from the time I went from January to the day I got hit, March 14, I had 1 shower. 1 shower. So I went to Metz, France, and went to what is it, Luxembourg? Yeah, it was Luxembourg. But from there, we were ready to go to Germany, across the Rhine River. So all the guys that were available, we went on these boats traveling this river, and it was kind of wobbly. And anyway, when we got up there, I went all the way up to that mountain here with a lot of sticks that were stuck into the water and into the ground. I didn't know why they had them there, because I never had the chance to ask any of these questions. And by the time I got up at the top, as far as I can remember, I was one of the first ones that went up there. And I saw a German throw a hand grenade. And when he threw that hand grenade, I tried going back. I got hit in the head. I have a plate in my head. I had shrapnel in my back of my legs. Couldn't talk for let's see, I got hit March 14. When I woke up, I was in Paris, in the hospital. I couldn't talk. So I never talked until I come home.
Were you awarded any medals? or citations?
Yes, I have it in my on my discharge. See, when I got hit, I have a lot of trouble talking. But, yes, I have some in my discharge to tell you how many I had. Is the discharge?
You see that?
Well, I had to order my medals because it didn't come right to me and give me a medal. And I wasn't worried about anything at that time. But there was a guy that they gave him a Purple Heart, and he gave it to me, and he says, I don't deserve this. I said, you should keep it anyway, but he wouldn't keep it, so I held it. So when somebody saw me have that Purple Heart, he asked me if he could take it home and show it to his family. Would you believe that he took it? I never saw it again. So when I wanted all my medals, I had to apply for them, and I got them all in boxes.
How did you stay in touch with your family?
While I was in, by letters, mailing. But every time my mother would send me a letter, she'd always put an X0. Well, and when they see that, they cut all that out because it could be code. So I didn't know what she said.
What was the food like?
What, honey?
What was the food like?
The food? Well, they come in boxes, so when you're hungry, it all tastes good.
Did you have plenty of supplies?
I never had to ask for anything because we had all we needed.
Did you feel pressure or stress?
No, I never was.
Did you do anything like for good luck? Like
Good luck?
special? Anything special?
No. I'm just carefree.
Did people entertain themselves?
Entertainment? I remember one time we saw them down on the shore on camp when I was in the hospital. So that's all I saw.
What did you do when on leave?
I didn't catch that.
What did you do when you were on leave?
Was on a leave. When I was in the hospital, I was able to go home every week. And just normal activities.
Where did you travel while in the service?
While I was in just Arkansas, and home and back to Europe, down to Europe.
Why don't you read those medals
Okay.
that he got,
Okay.
and then let's ask him if he would like to talk about anything.
Okay. You received the Purple Heart Medal, Combat Infantryman Badge, Good Conduct Medal, European African, Middle Eastern Campaign Ribbon, and 1 Bronze Campaign Star. Is there anything that you would like to share with us today?
Well, to tell you the truth, when I got all those medals, I didn't realize I had that many coming. I knew I had the Purple Heart coming. I didn't know I had the Bronze medal coming, but I saw it on my paper, so I guess that's what they thought I needed. And you know, I only spent being over there in January and got hit from March 14. It doesn't give you too much time. You're just traveling to get to your destination. And like I say, when I first got down there, I saw that German throwing that hand grenade, and that's the last I ever heard.
So your time in was from January till you were wounded in March, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you were in sort of a rehabilitation system.
Yeah, I was in Percy Jones Hospital. I was in there for all that time until November 2nd of 45. So that was a matter of about 8 months.
What did you do after that?
When I got out?
When you got out?
Well, I hadn't worked. I wasn't able to work for a while. And I was still single. And then when I did get married, I got a job working for Chrysler's. I wrote out an application for a job, and they, when I told them my disability in it, they turned me down. So a month later, I tried it again. I didn't tell them anything about my disability, and they hired me. So I worked there for about maybe 12, 14 years. But then I couldn't handle it anymore. I have convulsions. I can overcome them. I still say that I am very fortunate. I could have been dead in 1945. So these days I have now are a bonus days. I'm very fortunate. Raised 10 kids. Well, that's my life. I'm very happy.
You know, you're obviously, people like you are why we're here today, and you know the nation's very grateful. I'm a Vietnam veteran myself, and your particular war was very meaningful to the country, and everybody has carried forward in their heart a special place for all the veterans like yourself. And in this Veterans History Project, they've interviewed people who have had situations that even were even further debilitated by the war than yourself. And then there's people that had no injuries whatsoever. But that's how wars are.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that? Well, let me rephrase it. Did you have any contact with the people, the servicemen you were in the service with after you rehabilitated and got out?
I would like to have been, but things were so fast in my day to be replaced, because that's all we were replacements.
Right.
And I knew some guys from school and so forth, but I had no contact at all. I don't know who died and who didn't or what.
What was your outfit? Do you remember the name?
Well, it was the 5th Division, which was Red Diamond. They called it the Red, what they called the Red Devils? Something like that.
Yeah.
It was the 3rd Army and 5th Division.
Well, despite your experience, it seems like you carried forward with your patriotism, your love of country, that's for sure. Did you, you know, I've sort of gotten in this, I normally don't talk, but this is kind of a tough interview for you as well as for these young people. So just trying to make it convenient for you and a little easier for you to
Well, you'll have to excuse me for trying to bring this out.
No, you should. You should. The whole idea of when the Library of Congress, when this bill was passed in the year 2000 and signed by the President, the whole idea of the Library of Congress doing a Veterans History Project was to capture exactly what you're telling us, because no one has that record. There's about 15 million veterans of all wars still living in the United States, but we're also losing them at a great rate. So by you coming forward, not only do they gain the experience, but the nation gains the experience too, because basically what happens is a copy of this interview goes to the Library of Congress and American Folklife Center for a permanent record. You will get a copy of the interview and the transcription, and then they retain one here. So this is not a small project. It's a very large project, and it's in honor of people like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about it, they want you to talk about it your way. You know, it's not like it's a TV production or something like that. That's why it's very elementary the way we handle it.
When I got hit, I didn't know where I was. I know they carried me in the stretcher, and I'm having these convulsions and not knowing why. And then I had a beard of what I didn't shave, you know. So I asked the guy to, would he would shave me, because I couldn't talk. I had to motion to him what I wanted. And finally he did shave me. And I didn't really start talking until I got into New York. I tried, they said I could call home, and I called home. I got a hold of my sister, but I couldn't put any more words in there, so I gave it to somebody else to do my talking.
Right.
And so when I came home, they came to visit me. They didn't know what they were going to see. My mother was worried about whether I had lost a leg or an arm or something. But I was all one piece, but piece here, piece here.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, it looks like you fought back. You know, remarkable job.
I'm very fortunate.
Well, that's your determination.
Mm-hmm.
You had to want that for it to happen.
I'm not bitter about anything.
Right. Well, is there any final thing, Joe, you'd like to comment on, or as we wrap it up for you?
Well, I think I've raised a good family. They're always protecting me. I'm very fortunate.
You sure are. Looks like you're loved very much, and it looks like you have a lot of love for them too. Now, when did you get married? After the service?
Well, what happened is I had gotten married in 1947 the first time.
Okay.
My wife had 5 children, and she had a brain tumor, so she died a week after the baby was born. So after that, I don't know how long it's been since we've been
together
between that time.
Well, 12 years, I think.
Well, anyway, we've been married 36 years now, and she had 5 children, so we raised 10 children.
Wow, that's
and I've known her all her life, and so.
And my husband died at 27.
Oh,
In
okay.
a car accident. So
10. Do you have grandchildren too?
Yes,
39.
great grandchildren.
How many?
39, and 3 of those are
Are you
great-grandchildren.
serious?
Mhm.
Oh my God.
I just turned 70.
7.
77.
That's unbelievable. All right, I think we can finish it up there then. Are you girls, did you want to make any?
There's the picture of him in there when he was in rehab, and they were teaching him and a Japanese young boy how to speak. No, not that one.
That picture there was taken after I had my plate put in my head. Mm-hmm.
Who are the people in this picture?
Pardon? No, this is Japanese kids. We was in our same class that we were being taught to do this and that. And that's me and this, the nurse.
Hold that up toward the camera. So
Okay.
Can you see it okay?
Uh-huh. And then these are all your certificates.
I didn't get too many, very many pictures.
Wasn't in there long enough. Long enough to get hurt. If I can say something, is it okay?
Good.
He has never felt anything pride for this country, and he was always grateful that he went to service and did what he was supposed to do. And in his later years, he's been acknowledged so much for it. People stop him on the street because he wears his hat constantly. My niece made this shirt for him with his name and rank and everything. He's a proud man to be an American and to have served his country.
Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Well, I had such a short Army career that I don't know much more I can put to that.
How about
You
when
know-
you were getting on the boat, Dad?
Pardon?
How about a couple of the stories, like when you were getting on the boat, the dice, when you had your pay?
Which one's
The
on?
story of when you got your pay?
My pay?
Yeah, what are you going to do with your pay?
Oh, we were ready to go overseas. We got our paycheck, and what are we going to do with that money now? You know, we're going to be going to a place where we can't use American money over there. So we went and got a haircut. We got facial, and then what money we had left, I said, they're playing dice over there. So we played dice with his money, this guy's money, and my money, and we, he says he wanted me to roll the dice. So I got a number, and the next one was a 7, so there goes all the money. So we didn't need any. So on the boat, I was able to get a box of candy bars for $1, but I didn't have $1. So.
How about your story when you went into England, when you went into that town and you saw them carrying out the captured Germans and the cognac?
Oh, there was a place in Metz, France, where I told you that I saw all these dead horses. Well, I went down this cellar where they had, it's all full of cognac. And you know, people that drink, you know, it was a heaven. So I don't drink, so I just looked at it and walked away.
Isn't it from one of those houses that you obtained that, the Nazi memorabilia?
Oh, what?
The Nazi memorabilia that you have? The photos of the Nazi stuff, the bayonet,
Oh, the bayonet.
the bayonet and the medals.
I got those.
Tell them
in,
where you obtained that.
I got those in that house over there. I know we did capture two or three officers. I had nothing to do with it, but it was with our group that got them out of the house, and somebody carried them where they had to go.
What is this?
That's the German medal, but I don't know what it was for.
How about the schoolhouse, Dad? Tell me about the schoolhouse that you were in.
Well, that was in Luxembourg, where our last stop before we went over to the Rhine River. And what was that?
I'm sorry, Dad.
What was that?
Yeah, that was at the schoolhouse,
That was just a schoolhouse, yeah.
right, that you were in the school until going to Germany.
Yeah.
You left in the dark of night, and that's when you got into the Rhine River?
I was in, before I got there, they didn't want anybody to put any lights or matches or anything else. It was pitch dark, I couldn't see nothing. So put your hand on the guy in front of you, put your hand on his shoulder, and if there's anything in the way, tell him. Well, we got too far, so far there, and all of a sudden, they didn't tell me about this ditch. And I go all the way down the hill. So I had to crawl up there to get up with them again.
Probably had your pack on and everything.
Yeah.
You can tell about getting off the plane story?
The what, man?
When they were carrying you off the plane?
Your feet.
Oh, when they were, I was in, we got off the plane in Bermuda, and they had me on the stretcher for, I think we were eating at the time, we were going to eat, and these two guys were carrying me. Boy, what was that? My feet, I hadn't had a pair of socks on.
Her base.
I felt embarrassed. So, it couldn't have been that bad. It didn't kill me.
Didn't kill anybody else either, right?
But it's kind of hard to remember every little thing, you know. But a little bit here, a little bit there. And I forget a lot too.
Yeah, but you did a great job. You did.
Yeah, I'm very, you know, I went to the hospital, and how many people there's always somebody worse off than you are.
Yeah.
So, I can't see here that much, but I work in that. So.
Yeah, but you're here and you raised the family and you're still standing and
Yeah.
you know, you still love your country, and I think that's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You really do.
So, I have no complaints.
All right, you wanna?
Thank you so much. We always read about like World War II in history books, but you never really get to know exactly how it was.
Yeah.
You just hear about the facts.
When you see people getting off a boat and going into a landing, I never had to go through that because that was already done ahead of me, you know. So all we had to do is going forward onto our destination. I was supposed to have a 30-day leave and go to Paris, but I never made it. I got to Paris, but not that way.
Different way, right?
Not that way.
We're really grateful that you are doing this program because, as you've said, of you not knowing the stories of the World War II people, we as children never knew these stories until now, until this was brought forward and we started asking my dad. We didn't know all these things. We probably knew very little. We knew my dad was in the war, got blown up by a hand grenade, and that was it. We didn't know about him going in the town, the Rhine River. So we're extremely grateful because, like, you know, World War II vet, and even like yourself in the Vietnam, very little recognition You know, the medals were sent to poor Vietnam people. They didn't even acknowledge them. And there's so much coverage of what the guys do now, and people really don't realize what my father sacrificed and what other people have, and even his children, his own children, we didn't know. So we're extremely grateful because it's given us something, something back too that we didn't know. So we're learning as well as everybody else. And the one thing I've noticed about him in all this time, and you hear so much bashing of the United States and the country. You know, my dad went, gave his life, gave part of his body, and never once complained, never once degraded his country. And he's held such a great attitude, and we have such admiration because we can learn and live by that.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm extremely thankful that you guys have taken on this project, because I think you not only help them, but you help us. You know, you help us learn, and we're very grateful.
Oh, thank you. We're happy to do it.
I have an older brother, 1 year older than I am, and when he had to go in for signing for the draft, well, they pulled him aside and they had to check his ears. He had perforated eardrums, so he couldn't go in, and he started crying. Yeah. But when I got drafted and I had my ears checked, they pulled me aside and they flushed my ears. I had that wax in there. I said I felt all right. So I was okay.
All right. They want to make sure you hear them orders in boot camp. Okay. I would like if we could somehow pull Joe's shirt down to get that his name is on
up,
there.
honey.
And everything. Maybe
That'll
he
be
could
better.
stand up. That would be nice.
My niece just loves him, and she had made this 2 shirts for him.
Are you getting that? The other shirt? Yeah. Okay. All right, Joe, you can sit down. If you want to get it, and then we'll take pictures of it, photos right here, and you can take it right back out. Would you like to do that?
You want to go get it? We'll go get
Sure.
it. We'll go get it.
That's a good idea.
12 or 16, I forgot which. But anyway, he got drafted in this First World War. But that was only 1 year battle.
Right.
But he never got into anything, so.
Right. But you know, Joe, it's not whether you did too much or not enough. It's that you were there and you made yourself available for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you did what you were told.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I hear a lot of people talk, well, I was a non-combat person. I never saw combat. I say, well, were you in the service and you were willing to go? And they say, yes. Yeah. You tell me when you're done, and then I'll place it aside.
Those are the
If you want me to print them and do them for, I would be more than glad to. Or you can.
You need back here more? Don't put me in this.
And I think this is a fly pin. We're not sure what it represents, but
it was worn by a Nazi.
somebody probably does.
Those look like
Yeah, I'm
German
sure
wings
with
to you.
all the records are keeping.
I've got terrible hands
It's
to
about
forge.
1914.
And this is the pin, the metal.
These metals.
I don't know how close you can get to it,
I
but
got the date on it.
the very top of it, there's a crown.
Yeah, I got it.
In the middle, there's a W.
And the date.
1914.
My
Is it?
goodness.
Oh, she's got it full in the screen.
And I'm going to turn it around for you.
Okay.
There's a bronze star. Certificate.
Okay. Did you have a room where you have all
Yeah.
this display?
Yeah.
We get up in the morning and we bend down and see it first. Yeah, it's all in one room.
I got it.
It's
It's got
funny
the
because
picture of his whole troop also.
Right.
it's funny because when he didn't want to do it. I said, "Come on, Dad." I said, "There's a story to be told here, you know." And he was concerned because of his what he considers his disability to recall things and bring forward. And it was extremely helpful when they sent us the list of questions, because that's when we learned of what my dad did.
Right.
When we started asking him and he started recalling this stuff that I don't believe he ever talked about, at least the entire growing up. And how
They
old is
don't.
Joey? He's
They don't.
Joey?
24.
You want me to sign?